Let's see if the audio is working. If I can hear this. Oh, good. This is very lovely. So, between this week and next week, I have two videos I want to do, which is the top 10 Piccolo fights. Because I didn't get around to doing that. I was caught up with other stuff. Um, and also this, what was the video called? It has to do with this person on Discord being dumb a couple of years back. So I'll try to write the scripts for those this week. Yeah, that video from yesterday was the culmination of just being irritated with people and a lot of the things they like to say. Because it seems as if too many people online uh, are in this habit of trying to accuse me of something. Like if they don't agree with some choice I've made, they'd rather assume stuff to make themselves feel better about my situation. But it's not even just the romance stuff that people do that on, because I've also talked about how you've had people who, without being aware of what places I applied to where I even start to show where the places were, would accuse me of being underqualified for the positions I'm seeking. Like I'm trying to be the CEO of Microsoft or some crap. But it just seems like people on the internet are so uh, hell bent on being antagonistic to me. Like taking the position that is opposed to mine. They're like, no, you have done something wrong. And even though we don't have any proof of what we're talking about, we're just gonna say you did something wrong so we can feel better about a situation that we don't know all the details of. It's really sad. But again, the biggest cancer on the internet is that there are a contingent of people who would rather believe a lie than see reality to make themselves feel better. And I have given serious thought to doing that video where I just kind of give examples of various men who have done what would be considered egregious things by normal people. So serial killers and different murderers, and how it seems as if the one thing they all tend to have in common is the ability to get with a broad, which is why it's very disturbing when you see people who, I was talking about the just world fallacy, use someone not being with a woman to try and signify that they're bad or they have some horrible personality, when people who've done horrible things are still able to get, married and be in relationships. Hell, the stream I did last week was the one where I talked about how there was this little boy called Tyshawn Lee in Chicago who got murdered when I was in, what was that, 12th grade, 2015. And he was later, the two people that killed him, one of them was bailed out later by their girlfriend. So their girlfriend, even though she had the option of moving on with her life like a normal person, decided to not only stay with the man who murdered a baby, a little boy, also be responsible for getting him out of jail so he can go back to his, you know, evil ways. But again, I wish people, because I always try to give the benefit of the doubt, so maybe there are individuals who aren't aware of that story. It's just very sad to see them, assign all these terrible traits to me as if they make a difference. Trying to see what's going on with this thing. Yeah, they love to accuse me of stuff. It's really wonderful. make me the antagonist. You probably approach women in a weird way, even though we've never seen you talk to one of them ever. You probably go for ones who are above your league, even though we don't know what the hell any of them look like. You probably would prematurely stop talking to one that is interested in you, even though I've never seen you talk to a woman besides myself, and you spoke to me for almost 11 months. I mean, if it weren't so repetitive, it would be funny. I just find it more annoying than anything else. Yeah, between now and probably December, I'm contemplating because I do want to do the top 10 worst things video where I just go through and like rank all of the top 10 worst experiences I've had with chicks. Because number one on that list is going to be something I've never mentioned before because the event left me traumatized enough to not want to relive it or talk about it. Um, but the point of doing a video like that is just to simply say, at a certain point, the situation with these people goes too far. That you can't keep having your time wasted while speaking to these individuals and be motivated to keep that up year after year. And it's even more incredulous when you remember that despite having experienced this for years, you have these people who tell you just if you just wait this next year or the year after that or in 10 or 15, they throw out these random estimations of time. Uh, Not because they have any proof that the longer this goes on, the better it gets, because you've now been doing it for years yourself, which is why you don't believe them when they say that there's going to be this magical year where things change. That's why I did that stream. She's not coming. And during that stream, I had a guy on there who was trying so hard to get me to argue with him. And he, like, it was because I've never understood this. If these people are so, I guess, uh, intellectual on what you need to do to get with a woman, why are they here? And I even gave this example of how I'm someone who considers themselves, I guess, gifted with the ability to draw. So I don't go on videos of people showing people how to draw things because it's something I believe I already know how to do. So I said if I were a person who was successful with this chick stuff, I couldn't imagine spending my days going on videos of people talking about how hard it is to get with someone. It just seems like a really weird thing you would do. And my favorite thing is when they tell you to go and talk about something else, and then you talk about something else, and they don't come and watch that. In the entire history of men online telling me I talk too much about chicks, I've only ever seen one who showed up after saying that, come on, some other thing I did, whether that's Dragon Ball or something political. They usually just say, this is being discussed too much, and then try to tell you what you need to talk about instead or be into instead. And then when you show up with those habits or hobbies, they ignore you. Because again, it's not about actually caring about the person you're talking about. It's just to peddle some argument or insult fest. Speaking of insult fest, my brother actually, who I mentioned before, is underage. He about a week or two ago. He expressed interest in doing a stream with me, uh, and I didn't outright say no. I just mentioned that I didn't want people online to insult him over his appearance because people are online are really disgusting towards everybody, including children. So I'm probably not going to take it. The closest he could come to showing up on here is if he's like sitting somewhere where you can't see him. And even then, people would still insult his voice because that's what they've done to me. It's really sad that the internet is like a no man's land for just attacking people of any age. Nothing's off limits. I've been speaking now for 10 minutes. Nobody's written anything. I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed, but it is what it is. You try to do a stream at a regular time because you think it'll incentivize people to show up, and then they vanish. Like, the internet's so goofy. Yeah, if you take online seriously, you'll drive yourself crazy because people on here really, it seems like they just exist to be antagonistic. Like I talked about one time, I was gonna do a video called "My Character Assassination," uh, where I was gonna address how I've had people insult the way I look, different drawings I put up on here, my voice, just all kind of little stuff they like to nitpick at. I remember there were actually a couple of posts on both my video and this other website where people were insulting my necklace, and it was funny because it's another one of those little things that you just really, I mean, you get so used to just having something on that it almost becomes as simple as breathing. Like you don't really think about it too much. Like they put more thought into something you wear than you. Just like when the Discord snake did his creepy crap and was like, did I wonder if it's the glasses? Because we all know that every man who's been turned down by a woman wears glasses. It's even more comedic because even though I got my first pair when I was in seventh grade, I didn't actually start wearing them just outside of when I was in the classroom until 11th. Like the summer before 11th grade is when I started to. No, excuse me, the summer before 12th grade is when I started to wear them. Yeah, 11th grade was the last year I didn't wear them regularly. I'm just mentioning that because it's when people make these claims, they have to make a lot of assumptuous just beliefs about what's happening or what's going on. Like I remember I had this one guy and he was like, "You should talk to your friends who don't have problems with romance." And I'm like, "Well, that's very assumptuous of you because that infers that we all met because of being not being able to get with a woman when it's literally just a group of men who are all affiliated with each other that just by coincidence had the same problem with chicks, which was the central point that it's not something that's just happening to a couple of people. If these people who all conveniently knew each other happen to have this same issue, you can't just dismiss that one person as being the problem. It's really sad. Also, you're already hear that. I apologize. It happens when you live with other people. They don't really care. Yeah, the whole I don't know, it's just really strange. The chat was, I guess, just not showing up this stream. Everybody's still sleeping. Almost 1 in the afternoon. We went from 6 people to one. That's very weird. But whatever. The internet's a crazy place. That's been established. And my favorite thing is when you make a new video and nobody comments on it, and then some video from like 2 or 3 years ago has somebody comment on it. Because I had that happen today. There was some video I did, I think in 2017, and they got a comment on it earlier today. It's just a running gag where like old stuff I did, these people still come to and comment on it. What usually ends up happening is I just turn the comment section off because there's a time and place to discuss things. Um, I was also considering doing a video about the fact that these groups that I'm not affiliated with, I'm not going to say their names, but you know which ones I'm talking about. They have this weird thing where people who either are part of them or people who aren't part of them, um, I guess, hold this belief that to discuss or be dissatisfied with one's romantic life automatically means you're part of someone's team. And I keep trying to explain that what's really irritating about that is I've been very direct about the long term things I wanted that I wasn't able to get. So, getting married, children, whatever. And these are things that when I watch a lot of the coverage of these groups, those are not the pressing things that bother them in terms of what they want from a relationship. So it's really like being, what's the way of saying it, a fish out of water, uh, among another, like a bunch of fishes that are also out of water but are in sync. Because apparently the majority of the members in that group were upset they can't get screwed or get a date. And but with me, it's kind of like the biggest issue is still something that is much more long term that I just mentioned. So you're getting lumped into this category not because you have the same wants as these other people, but merely because you get the same results. And again, this all goes back to wanting to control the narrative because it's a lot easier to lump everyone who has this problem in the same category, call everybody misogynist, and say they all hate women and all this trash. And it's really sad when you try to have, what's a good way of saying it, a adult conversation about this topic, and people just say, "To hell with that. Let me affiliate you with these people you don't interact with and have nothing to do with, and have never tried to attract." Which is why uh, from the time I started making any of this content, I've never put any of those groups as tags in any of my stuff. They just literally look at a person who has an issue with the way broads are and says, "Oh, you're part of my team," even though you have at no point ever indicated that you were. Tell you, I've never seen somebody own a monopoly on an opinion. Like, think of how crazy that is. If you have a problem with the way chicks act, you're automatically on my team. And again, this goes back to what I was saying yesterday about how people don't want to. Let me see this. What's the problem this time? I haven't seen Elliot in so long. He just vanished. But yeah, people have this thing about not wanting to hear somebody else, but also wanting what they have to say to be heard. That's why they leave these paragraph long comments on various videos I've done while ignoring whatever central point I have. It's very ironic. But that's basically the way I look at it. If it's like you're a guy who just wanted to meet some woman and then long term get married, have children, and that became literally the only reason I kept year after year even bothering with these people. And because you address it in a way that is not shameful of your behavior uh, or criticizes their behavior, you're now part of these different teams that you've never indicated any affiliation with and have never tried to reach out to. I just think it's nuts. But again, that has a lot less to do with me not being clear about not being part of these groups and more about people just wanting uh, to lump everything into a category because everything is just black and white. So if you have problems getting with the woman or you have issues with this particular thing, you're automatically a misogynist and part of these different teams, even if you've never demonstrated any behavior because our perception is everybody is that way. So we have to say that you are as well to feel more comfortable about a crappy circumstance. It's really similar to the job thing where people were like accusing me of not wanting to work as you applied over 100 places in a year. It's like, yeah, I filled all those out for fun. And that's another group I have no affiliation with. I've never talked about pills or, any of that stuff. It's all projected on me. I always just said I'm tired of this, and that's like enough for me to be affiliated with people I don't talk to nor reach out to at all. No, that's crazy. Like, Elliot, you've never seen me use any of those terms ever. It's all projection. Like all those group names, all of that is stuff that other people come up with. Also, Elliot, tell me where the rest of the chat is because they somehow have vanished or not appeared yet. Hey, that is pretty crazy. Where usually the problem is people don't comment on. Oh, they're all deceased. They don't comment on like I remember the thing was people comment on streams but not on the videos. Now it's people comment on videos but not on streams. That's a hell of a twist. But Elliot, have you seen me use any of those terms ever? Or put any of those groups as like hashtags in any of my stuff? Yeah, it's really crazy. Like I said, people just want to just oversimplify things. That's why they try to like take some part of my appearance and act like this is the reason or some other thing. Everybody needs to be a part of a group, regardless if you never demonstrated any sort of behavior affiliated with those groups. Yeah, but what's really disturbing to me is that I've never seen myself like what's the way of saying it, go out of his way rather, to not be affiliated with any of these teams and just like have them project themselves towards me in a way. So what I mean by that is I don't put any of those groups' names in any of my stuff. And I also don't use any of their terms. So you had Elliot mention a red, but you've never seen me talk about pills at any point. Because it really is not something uh I feel the need to, you know, discuss. Like I don't look at this issue in the way a lot of these different groups do. I don't feel the need to link up and discuss this with some myriad of people. Like really, damn, what the hell? And again, every time I look at those groups and people explaining them, they don't fit with what I want. Like I'm reading about these groups and they're talking about men who are upset they can't get screwed. And I'm like, if all I want to do is get screwed, I could just go to Vegas. Like, we talked about how very specific things were at the top of what I would like, that were long term, which again were to get married, have children. And for some reason, people have tried to take something like that and pretend that that's not what I want so that I can fit into this group of people that I don't have that much in common with outside of not being able to get with the broad. Like they've literally uh, gave this group a monopoly on men who can't get with a woman. And the members are so goddamn twisted that even if you say you're not part of their team, I don't know, Megumi, you were here for that goes the extra mile stream where the person who made the video on me admitted I don't call myself part of that group. but then still said I was part of that group because of the lifestyle I lived, even though we've never met. So how the hell would they know what lifestyle? Yeah, exactly. You need to be part of a group. But I've never seen like a team of people own a monopoly on an opinion or a circumstance. Like, imagine if I made a group called People Who Have Been Fired.com, just people discussing being terminated from their job. And then some woman gets fired from her job and like, she's part of my group. I can't get with anyone. I just accept, even though I have all the stereotype things women like. Yeah, I've read a lot about stereotypes. I talked about my best friend would get told that he was too short to get with the broad, and then I'm above average height and get the same results. I had clowns talking about if I didn't wear glasses, all these people would have orgasms. It's all stupid. The logic was lost. It very much was. But that's why I said I don't respond to my comment section anymore, because what's the point of doing a video where you articulate your position and then like having people who don't want to address what was said in the video talk about it or respond to it? I really do find that very disturbing, because the first time I got turned down was when I was 13, and my little brother is like approaching that age range. So if he gets turned down, he's now part of this romance group online that talks about pills and has some of its members support violence. Like, what the hell? And Megumi, 2 years ago, there was actually a forum that took one of my videos and they put it in part of some group of men they were talking trash about. And I didn't respond to it because, what's the point? I don't waste my breath on scum. But I went and looked at the other people who were in the category, like looked at the channels of the other people in there. Literally every single one of them, all they talked about was chicks. They didn't talk about Dragon Ball. They didn't talk about politics. They didn't have their own show. And that's why it's really disturbing to be lumped into this category with these people. It's literally, if you so much as open your mouth about not being able to get with a woman, and you don't, I guess, well, I don't really know what they want, because they also say that these people have like self pity, so they feel bad about themselves, which I don't. I'm not ashamed of who I am, but uh, it's literally, if you discuss this at all, to where even if it's not the main thing you talk about, just discussing it all, you're now part of this team. Really in a strange position that it seems to be no way out from, unfortunately. Yeah, you're just lumped into this category. Like I said, the internet's a really weird place. Everybody wants to give an opinion, but they don't want to actually listen to the people they're talking about. I was going to ask, what's your thoughts on the new DBS chapter? Um, I like that Krillin was in it, because they had kind of forgotten he was a character for the last couple of months, where we went from seeing him traveling with the sensu beans to just vanishing. Uh, I like the planet form that he has, that Moro has, with the different hands coming out, and that was pretty much it. Goku giving him a sensu bean was stupid. Giving this random villain Ultra Instinct was dumb. Uh, Still having Vegeta and the rest of the characters not even present or doing anything is ridiculous. It was okay. I'd say it was better than the one from last month, but just by a little bit. Because the one from last month was so lame, I didn't even read it. That was the first chapter out of this entire 20+ month arc that I didn't read the day it came out. I just read the spoilers, so this is kind of lame, and kept it moving. Can't wait to tear this arc a new one when it ends in a month or two. Because after I get through with that top 10 Piccolo fights and top 10 Krillin fights, I'm getting on that one. Not only that, but if you were a female, you wouldn't be lumped into any groups, let alone a group who is known for just ranting about chicks and some who commit crimes and such. Really twisted. Yeah. I even said if I was a woman and I came on here and said I was beaten by my ex, you know, nobody would say you're part of this group of chicks online that's been harassed or attacked or feels like they're nobody would do that. But again, they've now allowed this group, because it's not even just the members who do it, it's other people as well. It's like these terms are literally just slapped on anybody who doesn't get with the woman and is critical of them in response. It's really disturbing, because I don't want to be affiliated with a group of people who in some cases support violence. Because they lionize, some of them lionize that Isla Vista shooter, and I don't want to be affiliated with, like, I don't support violence towards people. So to get lumped in the category with where a segment of that group does, it's literally it's like being the polar opposite of something and having one similarity with those people, and they're like, no, you're all together. And people believe in that objectionably. That's why you have crazy clowns who wrote, you're going to commit mass violence and rape somebody, like in my comment section. No proof to support these claims. Just, if you can't get with the woman, we now have seen your future. And again, they always make what you want very simplified. So if you come on here and say you want to get married, have children, all this stuff that requires you to have a partner who you actually like, they say screw that. You just want to get screwed, even though, again, I can go to the state right next to mine and get that over with. Like I said, people are nuts. And again, all of this is just meant to make you feel bad about having an opinion that's not the same as their own. Because there are people who make videos where they attack men who can't get with the woman, and you don't see me in any of those people's comment section or watching any of their crap to begin with. But they have to come harass me because it's such an appealing topic. God, the internet is such an aggravating place to go to. Yeah, I just think people should make more of an effort to listen than type a bunch of crap. And again, I just think it's very strange to, like, at the center of me and the chicks, it's literally, at worst, I said something somebody didn't like. I haven't raped any of them. I haven't beaten any of them. I haven't put my hands on a single person or threatened any of them. Hell, and if you wanted to make an objectionable argument, I've actually protected a good chunk of them because I don't put up any of their pictures, or if their names are like in screenshots, I blur it out. You know, but for some reason, because you have a problem with getting with a woman, you're now this like up and coming, the new Michael Myers. I need to watch your latest video you did on the logic. Oh, that's about how if someone doesn't like you, they try to use your love life as like a way to attack you, even though people who are objectionably worse than me, like various serial killers and like all of the serial killers, um, and rapists and just people who've done actual stuff that's really bad to people, they all are able to get with someone. Hell, we had a serial killer in my state. He killed 10 people and raped, I think, 100 women and he was married for 30 years, I think. The original Night Stalker, Golden State Killer. But again, people want to do these weird, things about how women are such moral creatures and they're like wizards from Harry Potter and they can tell who's good and who's not, and then they're dating that. Explain that one. No, people online are really crazy. Because remember, Megumi, I give people the benefit of the doubt. So I'm going to do a video where I talk about like various evil men who like don't have, because people, I was bringing up Stalin and Hitler and all the rest of them, but they actually have power. So people try to excuse those. But people who are just regular in terms of occupation, men who do evil things were always throughout history able to get with a woman. Uh, and I usually would give them the benefit of the doubt of saying they probably didn't know about it. But you have these people online who say that they have these special inordinate abilities to tell who's good and who's not. So they like by their own logic, I can't give them the benefit of the doubt. I have to say, why didn't you use your special skills to tell who's good and who's not? Before you got with this person. It's really sad. Because again, there are certain things about this topic that are nuanced. So when people are like ragging on someone's appearance and saying that you're too short or ugly or any of that trash, uh, it implies that you have this specific hideous appearance when there are other men who don't even look like you have the same problem. So appearances would be a nuanced thing where you've had people who look all kind of different ways to be able to get with somebody, but they oversimplify it to feel better about ridiculous decisions made by chicks. I just always thought it was weird that so many men have a fascination with the love life of another man. It's like I said, I'm done talking to these chicks. They're not in my comment section angry. They're still getting screwed. It doesn't matter to them, and it's fine because the point of it wasn't to make it matter to them. It was to uh, give reasons for this particular decision of mine that were sourced and I could prove with the various screenshots I have of the ridiculous stuff they've done for years. But again, the main people opposing this decision are other men, which I just think is really strange. Because there is not a single man online out of any of the ones that post on this website or any other website who I've ever sat back and thought about, are they getting screwed or not, or are they still talking to like it doesn't matter to me. People don't even speculate this damn much on the president's love life, but they're going to sit here and write novels on various videos about mine. It's just really weird. And I told you on here, you don't get credit for anything good that you do. I had this one clown. I'll read your comment in a moment, Megumi. I had this one clown who 2 years ago left a comment. He was like, "You need to acquire a skill set to appealing to women because making videos about not being able to get with the woman doesn't require any talents at all. Even though if you're editing it, it kind of does. But whatever." And I was just thinking to myself, I do a show that I write, I draw it, I edit it. No credit for that whatsoever. I've done these Dragon Ball videos where out of all the recent ones that anyway have been edited. Uh, it's just sad that like you constantly show you're able to do certain things that a lot of other people wouldn't do, and no one credits you for it. Hell, even if I was part of one of those romance groups, I'm still someone who disavows violence when you have a lot of them who support evil things being done to people simply because they turned them down or they didn't like them or whatever. Still no credit. Strange, most other guys are concerned about other males, but you don't really see chicks being that way to guys. Yeah, I haven't had 1/10 of women in my comment section trying to like change my mind as I've had men. It's really weird. Well, again, like I said, when when you have an issue with the chick stuff, you don't get any credit. You know you're made out to be this person with very little or no redeeming qualities. Uh, and any nasty thing somebody wants to say about you now holds weight because some chicks declined to go on a date. I just think it's really sad that that's the perception by these people. It's like, hey, we know how hard it is to get with somebody because we're also men, but we're gonna crap on you as if this is a unique thing to you. Like that's the thing. I would feel bad if it was only me who got like turned down, but then I go on here and I see all these comments. Like, well, I don't feel too awful. Like if I'm so uniquely horrible, why does this happen to all these other men? They've never been able to explain that. I've such all these bad traits. Why does this happen to all these other people? That's why I said this romance crap is not based on logical conclusions by individuals who actually think out their positions. It's literally just, I want this to make sense. So let me crap on this person so I can feel better about this situation. Yeah, they want to overlook it because it's not convenient for their argument. Remember, when they want to make it seem like a man got what he deserved, when they don't have any proof that you actually did something evil, they have to come up with stuff. So now I'm the most hideous person in the world physically, and I have no skill set and all this other assumptuous crap that they have no proof of. Yeah, the name blaming game continues. Like I said, I've never been blamed for people's decisions ever to such a degree outside of this chick stuff. Like this, think of how insane this is, Megumi. I'm a woman. You talk to me for 2, 3, 4 months, and I tell you about how I find you so funny and intelligent, and I might even say you're handsome. And then after uh, several months of this, I say, "Oh, you go. Hey, can we go on a date?" And I go, "Oh, I just want to be friends." And then after that, you come on here and people say, "You should have told her that you could have bought her a car. You should have said you were interested on the second week." They find every possible goddamn way to make you the uh, the catalyst for somebody else's decision. It's really weird. Like when you come on here, you literally have to bear the cross, like you're Jesus of Nazareth. Like you have to take the burden of responsibility for every single thing a woman you meet does. It's really crazy. Always the fault of the pursuer. Because when you're in a feminist society where it's almost become like sacrilege to criticize women over anything, uh, you don't want to look at situations logically. Just for an example, let's reverse it. If some woman came and was trying to get me or whatever, and I said no after spent weeks and months talking to me, and I buttered her up and said she was so amazing and spectacular and made me want to dance, it would be my fault that it didn't turn into a relationship because she offered it and I said no. And because I don't have a vagina, people would actually be able to recognize that that was my fault. But when you're dealing with people who don't want to criticize chicks ever. They just they let them get away with it. I mean, Megumi, you saw firsthand how ridiculous it is when I mentioned the dingbat with the kid who purposely had a child she couldn't afford, getting sympathy from a woman who'd never met her, but that same woman wanted to make me believe I had done something wrong because people who uh, own money wouldn't give it to me for school. Like basically make me feel as if I could have done something to get people to use their own money for something, uh, use stuff they owned. You get what I'm saying? What's the way of putting it? You'll blame me for how other people use their money, but then you won't blame her for opening her legs and popping out this kid she couldn't afford. But again, that contradiction is completely lost on them because they have it set to where if you're a woman, they turn off their critical thinking skills. Yeah, it's really ridiculous. I just think it's funny that people are like trying to, go for this women are equal thing, but then they still give them specific privileges that they don't give men. Like you don't see anybody going on a woman's uh, post online or any of her social media when she, is like, "Oh, I'm so upset with not getting with the man or whatever," and telling her she's gonna blow up a school. They just don't get the harassment or the bad faith attacks that a man will get. So I said the internet's a really backwards, screwed up place. Like I use it to post stuff and sometimes go on news websites, but outside of that, it's something I really could do without. You just get attacked for too much stuff for me to be really engaged with as much as I used to be. Because I remember when that one video got to 200,000 views, I was responding to all kind of comments, and after a while, I just said to hell with it because if you can't understand what I'm conveying in a video, me writing something as if I'm putting down an essay is just a waste of time too, or is an even bigger waste of time because with a video, it's not directed at one person specifically, whereas with a response by me that's long, it's specifically responding to you. That is why I'll never That's why it'll never end. Strange, just so many guys would put up and tolerate the irrational behaviors many chicks have demonstrated. Chicks want to have their cake and eat it too. What a joke. Yeah, I've even seen some who try to defend the friend zone. And I said, all that is just them wanting you to satisfy their needs while not satisfying your own. Again, the most disturbing part to me is the fact that people actually think it's normal uh, for somebody to have to jump through this many damn hoops to go on a date. I mean, if you see the stuff people have written to me, um, and I guess what's really crazy, right, is that I would mention some of this to Triple L, and even she, as a person that I don't think was that bright, at least on this topic anyway, still thought what they were saying to me was stupid. Like I showed her where they said you need to have a financial balance. This paragraph long comment somebody wrote me, implying that there's some certain number of dollars that magically makes broads attracted to you or whatever, and she said that was stupid as well. They're just all over the place. And again, it's so sad because I really think if people actually stop doing that, if they just looked at this rationally, even if the issue itself might not go away, because you're still gonna have chicks that turn people down over every goddamn thing. You would have a better understanding among individuals. I believe you mentioned this before, how relationship and even platonic requires both equal effort from both the parties or it won't work. Yeah. That's why I said that the chick stuff almost seems like this self-inflicted punishment where you have to acquiesce to the needs of these people who inherently have never done anything for you. But you're supposed to want to do all this stuff for them on the off chance that they're interested. And with each passing year, it becomes, if you're a rational person, harder and harder to believe that the specific one you're talking to this time is going to be the one that reverses all of your past misfortune. So, like, as you're continuously getting discouraged from wanting to even bother with this, you're having these people who are like trying to tell you to keep jumping through these hoops, um, and acting as if you have no reason to think this is a waste of time, despite literal years of being proven that that was the case. I haven't seen Jem in a long time. He vanished. It's just it's really ridiculous. Because that's why I said a lot of this stuff is about making the man the villain. And you would think from just the response to me speaking about this, which is all I've ever done, that I committed some crime. Because like I said, I discuss other stuff all the time, and I don't get these like weird, overtly antagonistic responses. So I don't have anyone like I remember I had a guy who came on one of the relationship videos I did like 3 years ago, and he was like, "Oh, you've made too many videos about this. Go see a shrink." And I'm like, I've done over 1,000 videos on politics, and I've never had anybody tell me I can no longer discuss that topic. I've done, I think, 100 on Dragon Ball. I've never had anybody tell me that's too much. Like it's only with the chick stuff that there are these weird parameters that are put up around me to where I'm supposed to like jump through another man's hoop as well. It's strange. So I said this topic seems to bring out the worst in people. Like it makes them act in ways that are not conducive to reality. And you even saw this with this Tamari person. He likes to show up every 5 months. You even saw this with the response from Triple L, where I mentioned this before of how I told her about a broad on Reddit who said, "I will not speak to you outside of text because I want to talk to her over the phone." And Triple L's response to that was to say, I think she meant that she didn't want to speak to you on a phone yet. And I had to go on Reddit, which I don't enjoy doing because I really don't like that website, and pull up the message and read it to her where the woman specifically said, "I will not speak to you if you do not talk to me only through text." There was nothing about eventually doing none of that. She had to literally in her mind alter what this lady said to not what's a good way of saying it, to make what she said more practical or seem like it wasn't as bad as it was. Someone's about to slip. Twilight Zone, that's why it's all strange. It's very strange. Yeah, that was the pinnacle of ridiculousness. But remember, that's not the first time she did that. There was another instance where when we had our second phone call, she was like, uh, you say that you okay, the context is that I was telling her about some oh, I remember. She said that like it was in response to her age crap because I was saying if you have to be a specific age to get with someone, well, how the hell did these classmates of the same age as me get this thing I wasn't able to get? And then her response was to start assuming what personality I had, and then to say that uh, the way I came off to her was that I was someone who wanted more than a date. And I'm like, okay, but if I say that that's what I want, and then you assess me as wanting more than that, then that's kind of on you. That's like me going to McDonald's and asking for a burger, and then the damn employee is like, "I know you said you wanted a burger, but I felt like you wanted a shake." It's like, no, this is all stuff you're concocting in your own head to alter reality. Hey, Megumi, you remember why her argument was stupid? Because she's inferring that I wanted more than a date while trying to explain why I wasn't able to get with someone I was in seventh grade, while also admitting that I probably have a different personality from when I was in seventh grade, which theoretically means that when I was in seventh grade, all I wanted was a date, which apparently means I wanted the same things as these classmates who were able to get a date, which therefore means I should have gotten the same thing as these classmates, but she can't actually offer an explanation of why that wasn't the case. Like, she's using things that are contradicting each other during her own damn argument. I'm going to respond to your question of why something didn't happen 7 years ago to say why it's not happening now, even though I believe you have a different sets of wants than you did 7 years ago. Oh, it's like a cartoon. They don't even care. They just say whatever. I wish I was like that. I wish I could just take screenshots on like different forms and say, I don't like the people on here, so everybody is a terrorist. Because that's what they do to me. If you don't like what somebody's saying, you get to accuse them of some evil intent. Oh, a complete joke. Remember, she's the same person who wanted to friend zone me while what was the thing that happened? I blocked her on Twitter, and then I blocked her number, and then she sent me an email. And I'm like, why are you doing all this just to talk to some guy that you're not even interested in? Like, how weird is that? You're acting this creepy towards a man you don't even want to go on a date with. No, if you saw some of the twisted comments I've had written to me on here, I mean, goddamn. And again, I'm just not used to like so much off-topic stuff being said on one video. Because that wasn't the first video I had that got 10,000 views or whatever. And like, even then, people usually will respond to what's being said, or they'll at least talk about the issue itself. It was just so crazy to see all of these different responses to it. Like, you had people like, "Oh my god, I agree," and then you had these guys that were trying to attack the way I looked and all kind of little weird stuff. If it was the other way around, people would quickly jump to defend her and accuse you of stalking behavior and such. Well, yeah, that's the ironic part, that they'll accuse you of being the stalker, but then they're following you around. Like Megumi, I told you about what the Discord snake did, but before that, there was a woman who I spoke to 3 years ago that I apparently mentioned in a video. I say apparently because I don't mention anybody's name, so I don't know if I actually was talking about her, because so many of them do the same old crap. But again, if she was mentioned, her name was not used. So she finds my channel somehow, and then like gets upset and like, all right, whatever. And then I wait a few days, like almost a week, to make a video talking about how she was writing all this crap on a keyboard. And then she calls me later, and I'm like, "Oh, you said you were done. You said you were finished. So why are you like waiting day after day?" Because like, I don't do that. If I say I'm done talking to someone, I'm not going to sit there on their social media for almost a week. What did they say today? It's weird. Like I just think they're creepy. Remember, I'm the crazy one for not wanting to jump through all their hoops. Why don't you want to put up with these women who say they're not even interested anyway? It's very sad. And I love all the personality analysis. Megumi, 99% of the people on this website have never even spoken to me, let alone actually like met me. And they all know what personality I have. They're like, you lack confidence. You don't believe in yourself. If I didn't believe in myself, I wouldn't be able to confidently say the crap they're doing is stupid, that they're wasting people's time. Confidence became another buzzword that they use. Like it was that word, the term, the phrase work on yourself, um, and the word ugly that just kept getting spammed in my chat over and over. And not like people writing the same comment, but they just say the same trash over and over. It's very exhausting as well since you're just getting attacked from both sides constantly. Yeah. And again, think of how weird this is. It's mostly men who are taking issue in the love with the love life of another man. I say this to be as serious as I can possibly be. I say this on the grave of every single relative I've ever had. There is not a single man on this website who I have ever gone in the comment section of and asked if they had a girlfriend, if they had a wife, what they think of like I don't care. I even said I haven't watched another person's video about romance since 2016. Like before I started doing mines a little bit more regularly. Salt in the wound, yeah. Worthless platitudes just amplify the problem further. Remember, it's not bad enough that you have the chicks waste your time. Then if you address it or speak about it, now you're made to, be ashamed of your involvement with it. Just really think of how screwed up that is. You go out of your way to appeal to this woman, whether it worked or not. You attempted, you tried, and now you're being told online of how you're lacking in all of these different. They really make the woman seem like she's God. Like if you listen to the stuff or just look at the stuff they write, they do all of these character analysis on you, which are mostly negative, to deify these broads who, for the most part, don't have any spectacular thing going for them. They're not rich. They're sure as hell not all these amazing, beautiful creatures. I mean, it's so weird to see people get exalted just because they turn some men down, and that's kind of it. Like that's literally the only reason anybody holds them up on this pedestal. Oh, it is absolutely insane. Hell, one of the chicks that I was supposed to feel bad about saying no is literally begging for money on Instagram right now as she takes pictures of her backside in skimpy outfits. But that's somebody I'm supposed to feel bad for not getting with or try to appeal to. Like, how crazy is that? And again, I'm not, when I say that, I'm not attempting to disparage someone automatically for doing that. I just don't see how that's the behavior of someone who I need to like actively be upset about not getting with, like that, to where I'm like, oh man, if I couldn't get with this person, I feel so horrible about myself. No, they make these broads sound like they're Queen Elizabeth. Like they make them sound like they have all this power and they're all so amazing, and just I'm really sick of it. Like if those two things would just go away, it would be great. If people would stop trying to say I'm part of these romance groups, that would be terrific. Because I'm very different and Megumi, you can testify to this. How many of those people that make videos about this topic actually actively not only discuss other stuff, but discuss other stuff more? How many of them? Out of all those people that discuss this topic, how many of them actually address other things more often or a variety of things? I don't want to say any of their names because that's not what this is about. But you'll notice that with a lot of them, every week or every month, every time they upload romance, 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 romance. No, I don't do what these other people do. And it's really weird to be like thrown in this category simply because you occasionally discuss this topic. Oh, thanks. I'm about to ban you, Jen, because you were crapping on Collins earlier. That lady is so overhated for no reason. Like, just to get off of this for 1 second, imagine how backwards it would be. Let's say Jen is a Republican senator, right? Imagine how backwards it would be if I got mad at you for voting for something after considering not voting for it, but then not getting mad at any of the people who were going to vote for it no matter what. Think of how weird that would be. I'm going to get mad at you for voting for something after actually giving it thought as to not vote for it, but then everybody that voted for it with no regard as to not vote for it, they're all right. So a person who considered not doing it is worse or getting treated worse than people who are going to do it anyway. I remember people were accusing Justin of using politics, something he is obviously interested in as a way of coping, of not getting with the chick. It was the craziest thing in the world. Like they want you to believe I went to school to learn this stuff to like not think about chicks. It was all part of this grand plan. But see, they have to insert this. What's the way of saying it? They're so used to only ever discussing chicks, like to where it's like the main thing they think about, that the idea that somebody would say, hey, look, this sucks, but there are these other things I enjoy, is like not a thing you can actually do. They want you to be solely and narrowly defined by your love life. And the idea that you would branch out and discuss anything else is awful to them. Apparently, you can't have genuine hobbies or other interests if you haven't had a relationship before and not actively in one. Well, again, it's all about making it seem as if you are, what's the way of saying it, intrinsically linked to chicks. That's all that you're defined by. That there's nothing else you could possibly have interest in. Disturbing, if anything. Yeah, I've seen plenty of broads who talk trash about men, and nobody tells them that they can't watch TV or enjoy going to the mall with their friends. Like, it's only with men that there's this weird expectation that everything you do has to be tied to a chick. And if anything, everything you do should be, in my opinion, should be removed from that, because doing things that you actually like is much more enjoyable than doing things because you think a broad will be interested in you. I even had one that same chick that had the kid, right, 6 years ago, tell me, like, she was giving advice, and one of her things is, "Oh, if you join a sports team, uh, you'll have chicks at your school who say, "Oh yeah, I know him from that sports team," and then the guy that she got knocked up by was never part of any team. Basically, she's like was trying to give this advice while being a hypocrite because the man that she was would later end up with has nothing to do with any of that. Like I said, she's one of the few Republicans you can actually get to vote for something that's not part of her party. She voted for both of Obama's Supreme Court nominations, which is something that not very few senators on that side can actually say. And all these damn Democrats loved her when she helped to stop the repeal of the ACA or Obamacare. Like I said, whenever you show that you're like malleable and in either direction, you get hated by everybody. I just think this is just a crazy topic that like I won't allow it to infect everything I do. So I'll still do, Dragon Ball stuff, political stuff. And then these people online want it to be like the centerpiece of everything you discuss or talk about. I just find it really insane. Like they get so antagonistic over a man taking issue with not getting with a woman. I can see if I rape somebody, then yeah, it would make sense to start spamming my comment section about me being evil. But your worst offense is that you said something someone didn't like. And when you said something someone didn't like, you criticized the person. You didn't wish harm on them. All you did was say what they did was stupid. And you even gave them. I told you I never get credit for stuff I do. You gave them the courtesy of not showing their face, not putting up anything with their voice, protecting their identity, and you still got attacked for like this evil thing that you apparently did. So like, when people attack me on here, they don't do that. They'll show my face. They'll attack the way I look. They'll just really they'll do nasty stuff that I don't do to other people. But because this is the internet where your perceived negative qualities are magnified times 10, you don't get credit for any legitimate, objectionably good thing that you do. Because people, I could easily say, are cyberbullying me if they talk about the way I look. Yeah, it's just a bunch of hypocrisy. Sad reality. So I just live in the twilight zone. Just everything is backwards. Like people think it's normal for you to have to talk to 90 chicks to get a date. Um, People think it's normal for a man to have to sign up to a bunch of dating websites to get one broad to talk to him just so she can friend zone him. All of this stuff that should be considered backwards is apparently normal. Hell, people are telling me as a person who does multiple unique things that I need to like learn all these other skills just to get a date. You have to go learn how to play the guitar just to get a date. And nobody would tell a woman this ever. They wouldn't say to them, you need to learn how to draw or I don't know, edit videos or be 6 feet to go with some man somewhere. Like it's weird. That's why I called it the penis penalty. You get all of this weird pushback uh, just for having this issue. Like you're really made out to, and that's why I made the dehumanizes men video. You're really made out to be like the scum of the earth just because you couldn't get a date, even though it's happened to a whole bunch of other people. Which is why the character analysis on me don't really work because if we can prove this is happening to like dozens and dozens of other people, you can infer that not everybody does the same things I do. But if we're all getting the same results, then there's a bigger issue than just that one person. So I said people are crazy and really ridiculous. Let me see what else is happening right here. I think I've pretty much covered everything. Again, I'm really disappointed I didn't do the top 10 Piccolo fights video. I'll try to do it this week. I just had writer's block and I was getting really irritated with this other video I was doing. But they like to turn off their critical thinking skills and just overlook all those facts because it's a lot easier to make me have all of these supposed bad qualities to ignore or otherwise to ignore what I'm saying and justify what's happening to me, even if people who are not like me are having the same problems. Like when I went on that forum where they posted my video and these other men, they said these men had, like they didn't directly say my name, but they're like, these men have bad personalities that make them to where no woman wants to get with them. Like, well, hell, how does someone who's never spoken to me know what personality I have? But see, that's a generalization they have to tell themselves to feel comfortable with a crappy circumstance. And Megumi, did you see the screenshot from the broad who said, you treated me with respect or whatever? I can literally go, if I dig through my messages, I can find multiple chicks praising me highly that like are supposedly later finding out about this bad personality I have. And all I'm saying, and look, I'm not, when I say that I have to clarify, I'm not trying to say I don't have flaws or I guess at times act not nice, but I have more facts to support me having a decent or otherwise pleasant personality than they do to support me having a bad one. And again, they're all inferring that all of these chicks talk to you long enough to even get to know you. Some of them will turn you down online without even knowing what you look like or having spoken to you. Hell, I've had 2 chicks on Reddit who, once they saw my picture, stopped speaking to me. But you want to tell me about what personality I have? Man, they will accuse you of anything. Your personality is bad. Even though we have no proof that it is, we're just going to say it is because that makes us feel better. That's why I said a lot of times when I look at the comments written on here, I feel like I'm watching a spoof of a conversation that adults would have about this topic. Like you remember Scary Movie, that spoof movie about the different like horror films? Online, it's a spoof of what a legitimate discussion on this topic would look like. Like the only things that are nuanced are when they're talking about why you're ugly. Again, I never thought I'd see the day where the majority of people who have called me ugly, at least online anyway, are almost exclusively men. Like I can think of at least 12, 15 different comments saying I'm ugly or like insulting my appearance, and it's always by another man. And apparently they're straight, so they're not even supposed to like the way I look. I had to log into this account. It has that little face verification thing. Think of how weird, like, think of how backwards that is. Just imagine Megumi as a straight man. You're going to go online and look for videos of men talking about not being able to get with a woman and then be like, well, I think this man is ugly, even though I'm not supposed to find him attractive any damn way because I'm apparently straight. I'm going to now critique his appearance. Because even, my thing is, even when I watched other people's romance videos, I never did that to them. Because there are plenty of chicks I don't think are attractive that still have been able to get screwed. I guarantee you, if I put up the picture of that dingbat with the kid, people on this website How tall do you think I am, Ben? That's another overused, ridiculous question. You know, it'd be funny if he's like, "You're 5'2", and it's like, "Oh, that makes sense. I'm so goddamn short. I'm so tiny. I'm so minuscule as I'm taller than the majority of men in my own damn country." Yeah, Megumi, they ask the same stuff over and over. Well, yeah, everybody has flaws, but on here they want you to be a Mary Sue, like an actual comic book character who they wanted to like dictate needs to have nothing off about them at all, like nothing that would ever be considered. Because again, you're not going to attract every single woman, so like it's weird to have men telling you about what you need to do to appeal to chicks while they're coming from the perspective of a man who theoretically shouldn't be attracted to you anyway. They are not going to be held accountable for their rash decisions and unrealistic selective behavior. Well, that's the thing. Like, they can analyze me all they want, but how the hell do all these other people have this same problem? All of them do what I do. They all look like me. I thought you'd look kind of tall when you're sitting down. Well, let's see. The average height of a man in the US is 5'9". I'm 6'2". So I don't really have a height problem. Watch him be like, please get your license. I need you to verify your height. That's another one of those things that doesn't really matter that people magnify and make seem like it's a big deal. I'm gonna get asked the same two questions online for eternity. How tall are you and how old are you? Just being spammed over and over on every video or stream I do. Like they're an NFL recruiter. Are you old enough to sign your contract? You need your parents to do it instead. Are you tall enough to do some modeling? And that'd be funny if I ended up having to like pose for Playgirl or something. Even though there are many couples who are shorter than the supposed height to get exactly like these damn clowns online really want you to think there are no short men who've been able to get with a woman. Or that if you're this specific height, like you'll just have everybody rolling like, oh my God. They actually believe that. We've all seen it. So I said people online are crazy. They don't care enough to have arguments that make sense. They do care enough to like ask you the same questions over and over. How tall are you? How old are you? What's your blood type? How big is your rod? What color are your eyes? What state do you live in? What city? Goddamn, you would think I was in the Q&A. Like that is really crazy. I don't even. People on here act nuts. I like how he says, "I thought you looked kind of tall when you're sitting down." I don't remember a video I did where I was standing up. I used Tinder for maybe 2 weeks and I stopped. I haven't bothered with a single one of those websites in over 2 years because they're a waste of time. My favorite thing is when they're like, "Oh, if you just use eHarmony or Black People Meet or whatever." I said, "Listen, the fact that I would have to go on all of these to go on a date, that alone should tell you how ridiculous and uh, heavy-handed this is against the man, like how biased this is against the man. Sign up for these websites. I don't have the patience for them either, Megumi. I don't know why people bother with them. Because every time I went on one of those, it ends up either being one of two things. You send a bunch of messages to chicks that don't respond, or they do respond, then they find like a way of not being interested later on. I literally had a broad who made the case why we should speak to each other, and then in less than a month, stopped answering my calls after like having some 2 or 3 long calls with me where she was laughing and giggling and doing the rest of that crap. Yeah, I don't understand these websites. I just think they're a waste of time. And that's really what this is about. I don't like having my time wasted. And that's all I see out of this stuff with these bras. That's what I'm going to end up thinking is going to continuously be the case. Megumi, imagine how weird it would be if you got turned down by chicks for 7 years, and then I'm like, oh no, in the 8th year it'll happen, or in the 9th year it'll happen. You're like, well, dingbat, I literally just experienced years of the same thing, and now you want me to believe it's magically going to shift because the calendar changes. That's why I said people on here don't even care. They just make up crap. No, it's called stupidity. I already talked about that last week though, but like the thing of, oh, you'll change your mind uh when you get to this magic age, as if all this stuff that's happened is now going to get erased. They really do make this stuff seem like it's a cartoon. Like you now believe in chicks eventually reciprocating, and then Zeno appears and just erases the last 10 years, and you get to start all over. It's like, no, once they waste your time, that's it. You got screwed. I tend to think they're condescending whenever they say something as stupid as that. Well, again, it's about not having a good argument to go against what you're saying. So they just like throw out arbitrary stretches of time to, I guess, make themselves feel better about you having a different conclusion from themselves. So if Megumi says this chick stuff is not going to change, and I tell him, "Oh, in 2 years you'll see something different." I have no proof that that's actually going to happen, and Megumi has no reason to think that's actually going to happen. But I'm going to tell him that so I can feel better about his crappy situation. It'll get better. There was this one broad that kept saying that I was talking. She's going to be in this video I'm to do, and I still remember her annoying accent saying that line over and over. Like I got PTSD. It'll get better. It'll get better. No, won't you damn clown. Captain Dingbat. No, Captain Clueless. People online are so crazy. But yeah, when the Moro arc is over, I'll do a video review of it. It'll probably be 2 parts because it's what 20 something chapters. I'm gonna explain how it started off really decent and it just kept descending into ridiculousness. And I'll do the I'll try to write some more of the top 10 Piccolo fight script because we're almost done with those. We just need to do that one, the Krillin one, then we'll be done. And again, because the Moro arc is going to end in the next 2 or 3 months, that'll free me up to do the arc review. So yeah, I'll see. I appreciate Megumi and Jem for showing up, and that one person who was so curious about my height. I haven't forgotten it. I'm just trying to get this other stuff out of the way. Now, Megumi, I have a whole bunch of stuff on the back burner. Megumi, you know that in the original, so before Z started, not counting filler, she only showed up twice when she met Goku when he was a kid, and then at that last tournament. Well, Ben, if my videos are all recorded on the same day, wouldn't I only be wearing the same shirt? I mean, like usually the only 2 days where I record a video are Saturday and Monday. I don't. What am I supposed to like do one each day? And the logic is just blowing from these people on here. Yeah, I have given thought to reviewing all of Super. Um, I'm still kind of iffy about it because a lot of that show I just don't like watching, especially those movie retellings. Hey, Megumi, it's sad that it's like mostly men who talk about what clothes I have on. I've been watching you for a while and I'd like to talk about your chest. Oh, damn. Again, that's just another thing they latch on to because they can't disprove any of the points I'm making. I guess many of the cast gets tossed aside anyway. Yeah, because of bad writing and a weird reliance on the people in charge to stick to the same two characters. Like I said, the MCU only puts out a few films a year, and they're able to explore characters that nobody ever heard of before. Whereas Dragon Ball gets 12 installments a year with the manga, and they just focus on the same two over and over again. It's really sad. But yeah, I'll do a video tomorrow. So see ya.